Okay, what's going on? It's Marco here with neveracaseofthemondays.com. This is Next Level Home Business Mastery for the Top 1% Earner Mindset. It's 8:43 p.m., so this is a random one. I'm so excited though to have Tara Nikitas on here. We were just having dinner. I lured her into the office just after. Hey, will you come over here and speak? Because so I'm gonna move right into it because she's got to go. But Tara Nikitas is like we've been best friends like for a long time, 20 years, traveling the world, pro snowboarder. You were a pro snowboarder for how long?
20 years.
20 years straight. Okay, you're looking at a legendary athlete, like all-time gold medal winner, 5 golds in the X Games. I watched her on David Letterman. I'm like, wow, like it's so huge. When I go to her house, she has her David Letterman coat in a frame. It's so cool. But I wanted to show, because I'm always on here, and this is mostly about mindset and the mindset that you have to be just the all-time top female legend that all the other women look up to. And she was like better than the guys and would do just really, big, scary stuff. I mean, you were actually on TV. You got a concussion that day, huh?
I did. I got knocked out.
And you get back up and just keep being a badass. And that all these laws of success, the principles are transferable and they're completely parallel to what happens in the business. You crash and burn, you got to get back up, all the simple stuff. But I want to go over some of this stuff and just the conversations that we have, especially moving through personal development like we just did. We just invested more time, more money into next level, mind mastery, success that's going to propel you in your business. Really compelling stuff. And I think this will help with all of our mindset as far as building businesses and getting out of our comfort zone, facing your fears, all of it. So, Tara, will you tell your story real quick, and then I want to ask you a bunch of questions. We'll just kind of make it a conversational deal. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm always honored to be on with this guy, which has been somebody that you've mentored me through this journey of not knowing what I was doing, coming from a platform of being good in my previous career to crash and burning in this one for a good amount of time. I live in Colorado, and I am dedicated stay-at-home mom of 2 kids now, and something that drew me to network marketing is the freedom lifestyle that it allows you, the challenge. Love the challenges.
Right.
Love them, embrace them, and own them.
Yes.
And the fact that it really is the only win-win platform that I've ever seen in business. And so when I was looking for my next journey, I retired in 2011 and was seeking what was next for me outside of a career that gave me everything and so much more than I ever imagined. Then moving into becoming a mom, wanting to just still have my freedom lifestyle and want to dedicate my time to being a present mom while also still being successful with myself and challenging myself and learning and growing and exploring. I found it just fit every single bullet point on my list of what I needed to continue my journey exploring. I've been called the explorer, actually, so I use that word quite a bit because I'm always really fascinated with taking on growth in so many different areas, and I absolutely love working with other people and seeing them create their success and reach their goals and their dream. And being in a very self-centered career previously, I didn't realize how good it would feel to be in a place where I feel more accomplished by seeing other people's accomplishments.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. And being a little bit of a piece in that, helping others find their own true potential on their own journey. So
that is a crazy deal right there where in snowboarding, that's kind of part of the reason why, well, for me anyway, that It was, I didn't have to depend on anybody or worry about anybody else. I was like, I'm going to do it my own way. And then when you get into a different style of a business where there's leverage and duplication and you build these big teams, then it's like all about teamwork and knowing how to work with people and focusing on other people, because it's the same, but it's the same feeling. It's always the parallel, right? Where it's like, oh man, like I used to want my friends to go with me on this journey, like, but there was never a proven system or anything on how to become, get that lifestyle as a pro snowboarder. And we would travel the world, and I always wish my friends were with me, and I couldn't just bring them all with me, and they, so when I found this, I was like, yes, this is the way that I can do it. But then I was trying to drag all the dead bodies.
It doesn't work.
And
on any level.
But just like snowboarding, right? When you find that you like, oh, you know how good it is, and then you're trying to show people, and it's like living it all over again when you're able to show them, look how cool it is, and that's what this is about. But you have to gain those skills. So speaking of skills and everything that you've done, you kind of were doing it, and then you just went in. I knew you were going to do it, like go into Terra mode and just go. I mean, I know her, so she's fierce. And so talking about that, like being coachable, we were talking about that, coachable. What's the importance of that in this business?
Oh, I thought I was being coachable. Looking back, I was not coachable. I was overly excited. Overly focused on the gift that I had to offer people, and it was just too much. And I had a short spurt in racing cars, and that's one of the quickest input-outputs profession that I have really experienced. And that the big meaning and the big motto in racing is less is more. And it's one thing to know that, and another thing to actually do it, and to engage and click in and go, oh, less is more. So,
yes.
What the heck does less is more mean, right?
Exactly.
And so I was the overdriving network marketer.
This is such a good metaphor.
So overdriving is what puts you into the berms, it puts you off the track, and in one way it's good for racing because it pushes the envelope so you can find your envelope, your skills without blowing yourself out of the water.
Yeah, and you actually have to go there or else you wouldn't learn what you did wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You have to go there. So what did I do? I flipped cars. I went off tracks.
No.
I knew how to go.
Overboard?
I knew how to go really well, right? I was just like, I'm going. But I didn't know the value of when to break and when to shift and when to do less is more. And this applies in this business as well because of working with people and because of approaching and talking to people and meeting them where they are. If you're a pedal to the metal person, that's not always tolerated, and it can be annoying. And so I always heard one of my partners every single day say, this this may be for you or not. And it was one thing sharing your story, relating, being a person who can inspire others. They're not inspired on what the ingredients are in the products and what the companies did and da-da-da-da-da-da. They're inspired by your story. They want your story. They want to know what worked for you. Like most, I can't even name my tricks that I used to do in snowboarding. Maybe I can. But but it's I think part of the thing that comes back, I got a message from somebody just yesterday who wrote to me. I connected with her on Facebook. She friend requested me and I said hi, right? I was just like, hey, great to connect here. She looked like somebody that I would be wanting to have into my network. And she ended up responding this very long story about how I inspired her to take certain choices and risks in her life. because I was open with my own story and my
Yes.
own chances and risks that I was taking in my life in order to get to the place that I achieved in snowboarding, because the road to success there was not. I mean, it was like, I'm quitting. I'm going back to school. No, I can't. I come back and da, da, da. I got to be injured. I got to be out for 2 years. I got to be broken. You know,
Oh, so you crashed and burned and you got back up? That's so weird. You have to do that here too, right?
I got to miss my family. I got to not have relationships to continue going where I was going. And she wrote and it was a direct reflection that what I shared in my story was what touched her and her life to move forward and to take risks and chances. So
you made a huge impact. So that's a really good point as far as look, she was vulnerable. She's not afraid to get vulnerable and tell the truth. I call her actually that's my nickname for her, the truth, aka the truth, because there's so much clarity. But you know, when you're going live, right? If you're going live, when you're talking to people, when you're on Facebook, everybody's putting up the front on Facebook. Oh, my life is great, but they're not going to tell the truth, right? They go, oh no, and they're closed-minded, and no, I'm not interested, and because I'm balling and my life is okay, you know, and because sometimes that can mean like, okay, if I'm open to something else, then maybe what I'm doing, I might have to admit that what I'm doing isn't getting me where I want to go, right? So sometimes they're closed for that reason, but they're not going to tell the truth until you tell the truth. And when you tell the truth about where you are and how you feel, they're secretly, subconsciously, it's called quiet desperation. They're secretly feeling like, that's how I feel. And then you're just telling your story. You're not having to spill. You're just telling your story, right? Which I want to back up a little bit, because when you were talking about products, okay, this is so valuable for this business. We didn't really go around traveling going, okay, we got the sintered base with the razor edges, and props to this. Oh, and our company is on the move, and blah blah, right, and like doing all that kind of stuff.
that's a good point.
Right? We didn't have to. We're not selling the features. We were just the authority of the subject, and no matter what company you went to, you were so good that all the companies wanted you, and it doesn't matter if you're good at snowboarding. You can go to any company and make the money. That comes down to skills, being coachable, everything she's saying right now. All right, so I wanted to hit on that big time. So, okay, now about not quitting. I mean, there's had to be many times where you broke things, you were talking about getting you slammed. Will you talk about that and then the parallel to this business and what you've done? Because you've gone through your own learning curve and slammed and came back and went into terror mode, and now you're on the next success trip. So
yeah. So you like you always say, you don't know what you don't know, and for snowboarding, in order to learn, there was a consequence physically. Yes. And we didn't have coaches then, so there was nobody there to offer feedback. And I really, looking back, wasn't open to feedback. I unless it was from somebody who I saw was an example of where I wanted to go.
Oh, that's a huge
and so if they were doing things that I wanted to also do, then of course I would listen to the feedback. Like one of the X Games that I won, first time a female ever did a backside rodeo in the X Games.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at a place where I was doing the same thing over and over again, and I was so close, but I was just a little bit off, and I couldn't see it from the outside. And I just kept crashing. I was crashing in practice, and we had 3 runs. I crashed the first 2 runs, and Peter Line came up to me and he's like, you're so close. You just got to slow down your rotation. And I was open and willing, because I was like, I've crashed. This isn't working. I've hit walls. I crashed all practice. So I was open, and Peter Line was a master of backside rodeos. So I listened, so much so that I just said exactly word for word what he just said. He didn't have to say much. And I heard it, I applied it, and I landed the next run, and I won. And that was a perfect example of the importance of coaching, first off.
Because you're already
I think
at
I would
that
have
level.
loved to have actually gotten more coaching in my career.
Exactly.
Like I would
Exactly.
have reduced so many more bumps and bruises and broken things, ligaments and stuff, had I had an outsider looking in, being able to see the things that I could not see myself, because I couldn't see myself rotate in the air. I could just feel it, and I knew when something was off, but I didn't always know how to change it. So having what's so amazing about this is that I have coaches all around me, and I always tell new people, I always consult, because not only will your business take off quicker, you're going to learn things you didn't even look at before. You didn't even know were on your radar, because how could you? You don't even know what you're doing. It's like the mastering 6-step, mastering, how to ask intentional questions to get to know what the other person's needs are so that you know how to help them. It's so simple, but there's such a mastery behind it too, because you're basically learning how to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways that I had from our last, personal success institution, like course that we just did, was the importance of listening, and the importance of listening to others and where they want to go in their journey, because this business is about, yes, my personal journey, where I want to go, and I have to see that every single day, but along the way you have to listen and understand where other people want to go, because their journey is going to be totally different than your journey.
Yeah, that's okay. So huge. Just a recap too, or if I can add, with network marketing, and when there's oh, it's exciting, we get on our agenda and we want to tell what we think is a good idea for them, and we're totally on our agenda, and it's a predictable pattern of emotion. It's a stage that you go through where it's like, yeah, I want to I got to build my business, I got to find, and so it's really hard to make that shift. And once you've settled in, like basically, I could see this happening, and you kind of settle in with a relaxed intensity, but really just focusing. This is all about life coaching. I mean, it's not about the products, service. It's about becoming really valuable at helping people break through, because it's all mindset, and that's the mechanism, right? And there's intention and a mechanism. Won't go down into
That brings up a good point, because any run or contest run that I ever did, I always knew that the winning run started at the top before I even strapped into my snowboard, because of mindset. Because I had a formula down for success, that it wasn't being overamped and overly aggressive. I tried that, didn't work, blew out, crashed, went off the track, and then I tried the polar opposite, totally relaxed, sleepy, just like, oh, I don't even care, like, whatever, contest, like, I'm just gonna go.
That's not gonna work either.
Yeah, that doesn't work. You have to know where you're going. So when you enter into something, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna see where it goes and see how it goes. Okay, well, that's very uncommittal. It's very, it's unintentional. I wanted to start that contest knowing I was gonna win. That was my intention. And so setting that mindset in sort of a control. What did you just say earlier? Control, like or relaxed
Intensity.
Relaxed intensity. I found that
Yep.
in snowboarding. I found that relaxed intensity.
It's actually called flow when you go into flow, because it's a reflex, and part of your you're like in flow. You're just like you're on it. Those days when you're just on it, right?
Yeah.
And you can create that, and over a repetition, you get your own style. You can nail it every time.
Yeah.
That's what
Breathing is huge. And breathing applies in conversations. If you haven't taken a breath in a while, you're talking too much.
Right? Yeah. That'd be so weird if a network marketer did that.
So anyways, but I found that at the top of my runs, that relaxed intensity through visualization, a meditation, a song would trigger it at times, a confidence, a posture, confidence, not being, with still being in a very humbled, open state. So it's different for everybody, and but it's something you have to kind of blow. You have to make the mistakes to then realize, okay, what I'm working isn't what I'm doing isn't working. So going back into reaching out to somebody who's been there, because we've all been there and done it, because we have to do it in order to get to the next level.
Getting feedback from those that have been there, and what I learned, I moved out to Utah, get around the best of the best of the best, get your learning curve down. So I knew that from personal experience, get around in this field, and you got to get around the people that are the most successful in that field, so you can get the feedback from them, right? So this has been valuable. Okay, so not quitting, of course, getting back up, crashing and burning over and over. The turns into a reflex, and it's all parallels. So
nothing ever works if you always quit.
Right? Yeah. Quitters never win. Right? So it's not failure; it's just feedback and course correction. Yeah. And so don't be afraid. If you are not getting support, you want to get your questions answered. I'm always here. You can private message, whatever. And if you want more stuff like this, you make sure you click the like button on the page, get notifications first, see first, click those things. So, because I'm going to be doing this a lot. A lot of videos are coming out, and it, again, you were like the most innovative snowboarder. She was doing things before the guys, and it is about innovation. So always keep an eye out for that new stuff. And the social media platforms are evolving, changing, and people are not stupid. All right, they have highly sensitive sales radars. You have to be better these days, right? And if you want to weed yourself out of that top 1%, there's you got to pay attention, right? So there's really valuable courses you can take. If you want, let me know. Drop me a comment. Say I want it. I'll drop you a free training series. Go straight to your email. It's paradigm shifting stuff that's happening as this evolves. It's the undeniable future, building your business with the internet, with social media, and it's the way that everybody wants to build with their smartphone from anywhere in the world, and it's completely possible now. So I would brand that way. We branded like as not selling stuff on camera, right? It's more like becoming the authority of the subject, and then people are like, she's obviously the best, so I just want whatever she's writing. And that's why they paid her so much money, the corporations, is because that's what consumers want. They want what the best of the best are using, right? So that's kind of the branding way. So if that was valuable, leave me a like, share, comment, whatever. Let us know what's going on, and thank you so much. That was pure gold.
Oh, thank you, Marco, for everything you do. Brand master right here.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.